friends. How is everyone doing this morning? I think as you guys can tell, I am not feeling the best. So I am in my PJs. I left work early. I don't have COVID, but I am feeling it. I am really just under the weather, but I knew I needed to film because the post office guy came to my door, left the boxes at my door. I didn't open up the door and talk to him or anything. Left the boxes at the door. I then waited till he was gone, went and got the package, and am really excited because it is my Blvd Cosmetics order. So I ordered the Blvd palette. I ordered the Dollhouse palette, which is the newer one, which is the one we're going to be reviewing today. I also ordered some of their eye brushes. And then I also have the Surge palette somewhere in the back I have not even used yet. But I was really, really excited for this release, and I am so excited to get to be able to dive on into this palette. So this comes with 30 neutral glam shades. So it's definitely a very large palette. It was $45. And I think there are discount codes that are out there. I did not use one, but I think I've heard some people mention that they have a discount code. I do not, and I can't remember off the top of my head who said that they did have a discount code. But here is the palette. It has a really nice sized mirror right here. And so you have the top shades, the top 6 shades are going to be your shimmers, and the bottom 6 shades are also going to be your shimmers, and the 18 in the middle are all your mattes. So if you guys want to see what look I create, what my thoughts are on this palette, is it worth the $45? Then definitely keep on watching. Alright, I do want to say before we get started jumping into any of the swatches that if you are new here or you have been here a few different times and you have not yet hit that subscribe button, I absolutely invite you to do so. I would absolutely love for you guys to join this channel. We have a good time. We try out new makeup. We try out old makeup. I do project pans. I do shop my stashes, using up old products. I know that's, it's a little bit of everything on this channel, and I try to do some true crime as well because I love true crime. So try to do a little bit of everything on this channel. So if this sounds like a channel that you're interested in, or if you really do like this video, then definitely make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and then hit that subscribe button and click the little bell to be notified of other posts that are just like this. So let's go ahead and let's dive on into those swatches. All right, so we have Mannequin, Glass Eye, Lace, Pretend, Tulle, Pin Curls. And this is where I'll explain this a little bit more about the palette, but these are going to be at first really hard to see. So this one right here is Undress, Hold Me Up, Display, Pose, Baby Doll, Porcelain, next row, Plastic, No Strings, Attic, Vintage, Rogue, Figure. On to the next row, we have Fasten, Cinch, moving on to the next arm, Stitched, Silhouette, Plume, Madame, Marionette, Imaginary, Harlequin, Dress Up, Little Sister, and final shade is Chantilly. So here are all of the swatches. So let's just talk a little bit about the palette and the way that it is set up. So first things first, as you can tell, the mattes go from a very light to a very dark. Up here you have those very, very fair types of shades where you could either use it to set your eyelids, you could use it to blend out shades, just kind of depends on your skin tone and what you would use it for. Some of the shades are deep enough that I could use it as a transition, but I don't think a lot of people that are much deeper than me would be able to use them as necessarily a transition tone. Then you get into kind of some of these more medium. So you've got really light, you've got some medium, right? And then the very last of the mattes is you have more of those deeper, darker, richer shades. Now then we're going to talk about these shimmers up here. So we have the shimmers right down here. These again are very light. As you can tell, these three, especially right here in the middle, don't really have a whole lot of a black base. It's more of a white base, but I think that they are very beautiful. These do have more, these ones right here do have more of a black base and they're more pigmented, but again, they're just very, very light. Whereas in comparison to this arm and these shimmers right over here, these are very much, very vibrant, very deep, very rich, and in your face. So I do like how it's kind like this palette is divided. So you have all your light mattes and shimmers up here, and you have your more deeper mattes and shimmers right here, and you have some middle toned shimmers right there to help balance that all out. So I do really appreciate this. I will say I ordered this and it immediately shipped out, I want to say the next day, and it has been here within a week. So just something to be mindful of. Their shipping is very fast. Their fill time is also very fast. I find that that's not really the case with a lot of brands. Like sometimes you do have to wait, unless you're ordering from like Ulta or Sephora or something like that. Then I feel like those can sometimes get there like super quick. But I think like ordering from the company themselves, I think they did a fantastic job with getting out my whole entire order and getting it to me. So then we're going to talk about the brushes that I got. I'm not going to use the Blends palette today. I just want to focus on the Dollhouse. I might do like the Blends palette in collaboration with maybe like the Surge or something. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. If not, that's fine too. I can just go ahead and use it on my own free time. So we have some little eye brushes here. So we have about 5 eye brushes. And it doesn't really come with a whole lot of details. I will say, looking at these brushes and these brush handles, they're very tiny, which for me with hooded eyes, I appreciate. I appreciate that. If you have larger sized eyes than I do, I don't know how well you will like these, but I feel like this definitely is on par with the owner of the brand because she does do a lot of very detailed blending kind of a looks. I will leave her Instagram down below so you can go and like check out like the kinds of looks, and I'll leave some pictures up here as well. So definitely, you know, using some smaller type brushes would be good for the kind of work that she's doing on her eyes. However, for me, just doing any type of look, these brushes are going to be great. So you have this one right here. This is the B5. So this is the blending number 5. This is the biggest and the fluffiest blending brush that comes with the set. Let's see what is next. That's a 2, that's a 3. Where's the 4? So then we have blending number 4. As you can tell, definitely a lot smaller and a little bit more packed. The bristles are a little bit more packed than with the other one. So, but definitely nice and small in comparison to this one right here. So then we have the B3, which just gets a little bit more, again, a little bit more precise and a little bit more dense, and not as long. So it's a little bit shorter, right? The bristle head's a little bit shorter, a little bit more dense. And then we have the B2, which is another like blending brush, but I think this would be good for like a pencil or underneath the lash line. And then we have the B1, which I think again would be a great like in the crease shade. This one is not as densely packed, so I think this would be a great like crease shade as well. So those are all the brushes that it came with. I can't remember the exact prices of the brush set. I will have to leave it like up here on the screen because I cannot remember exactly how much this sold for. I know that the palette was $45 and the Blends palette was, I want to say, $30, but I can't remember exactly how much these brushes were. So you get 5 brushes for whatever the price is that I've left it up on the screen. So something to be mindful of, these are very nice, very soft, and for me, having really hooded eyes, well, I like that I can just like get in there and do the work that I need to do. So let's go ahead and let's just dive on into a look. All right, so first I'm going to go ahead and start with the shade Porcelain right here. This is probably one of the lightest shades. I'm going to use this to set my eye primer. I have on the Ulta matte eye primer. That's the eye primer that I'm using. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and set the eyelid. Okay, now I just need to decide what kind of direction do I want to go. That's where I'm at. Okay, let's go in with a shade right here called Baby Doll. I'm going to do that in my like crease. So I will say this does have, you know, some fallout in the pan. You know, it's not a terrible amount, especially for how much coated my brush, but just something to be mindful of. I know some people really hate, having fallout in their eyeshadow palettes. So this is definitely a very light pink, almost has like a little bit of a mauve to it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just a little bit mauvey, and I feel like for the look I'm trying to go for, I need to work on just building this up. So that's what I'm going to focus on, is just like in the crease and above. It's really hard to see on camera, but it does provide like some light pigmentation. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue on this eye and just build up the color. For this shade right here, Baby Doll, it has taken me about 3 pack-ons and blending for it to show up, and my skin tone is very fair. It's probably, when I pick out foundations, it's like fairest fair is usually what I'm picking out for me. So the fact that I'm having to go in, you know, 3-4 times for me to build this shade, just something to be mindful of, just something to think about when thinking about this palette. Alright, so now I'm going to take the B1 brush and I'm going to go into the shade, let's do the shade right here called No Strings. I think that's what I want to do. No Strings next. And depending on the pigmentation of this, I will see I think this would be really, really good for like somebody that is looking for a neutral palette that they feel would be really good for something like an everyday office job where they can't wear really eccentric or out there makeup. I think you could easily, you know, just go in with these shades, these 2 rows right here and some of these shimmers right here for something really simple and really easy for every day at the office, but also having those other tones. So if you know, have like a date or something going on after work, or a work party later on, or you know, hanging out with your friends or going out on the town or something like that, you could just, you know, take this palette with you in like your purse. That's how I carried, you know, I think that is going to be great. I think that will be, you know, an option where you could definitely just like vibe it up a little bit more as well. So that I did bring more into like my transition. I think those 2 colors mixed together made a really good transition for the kind of look that I am going. And so we're just going to go ahead and build it up on this side and blend it out as well. Again, I did have to go in already with a couple you know, a couple dunks with my brush and pack it and build it and then blend it out. So Just something to be mindful of. But I think this is really good for one of those palettes that you can build up, because if you want to do something really eccentric or really like detailed, kind of like the owner does, being able to have something that you can build up instead of going in a little bit, you know, like a little too much, I think this would be great for. And I think I now want to go into the shade right here called Fasten. Yes, Fasten. And I want to focus that just a little bit lower down in like the crease area. I'm not going to really be doing a whole lot in terms of like smoking this out a whole lot up into my transition area. But that shade is really pigmented. That's one dunk in with my brush and just working this really like right in the crease area and just slightly above, because I do have under eyes. One thing I really like about these brushes in comparison to other brushes is I don't really need to do like a cut crease or anything. Like the brushes are just so precise at getting into the areas that I need, that I don't find that I really need to cut my crease for the shimmers or anything. I think this is gonna go well. Next, for the outer corner, I'm gonna go into the B2 brush, and I'm gonna take the shade, let's go in with Silhouette. I think that's what I want to go in with. I feel like this is definitely like a really nice cool toned neutral-esque kind of palette. But let's just see, start this on the lower lash line and just kind of smoke it out. I mean, really nice and pigmented, just like right off the bat. Really beautiful. And then I'll take just like the ever so slightly more and just start to make like a V shape. So I've glitter primed my eyes with my NYX glitter glue. I literally use that for every shimmer, glitter, metallic, whatever it is I'm going with on my lid. So I want to start off with the shade in the outer corner, and I'm going to take a brush. Let's see how well these work on a brush. So I'm going to take this brush right here. This is the B3. We haven't used this yet. And I'm going to go into the shade. Yeah, let's do Harley Quinn. I'm going to start with that right there. Take that. See how well this goes on with a brush. Well, okay, let's try this again. Maybe I just need to coat it a little bit better. I mean, it does coat it on. You do have to really like work with it. Let's see what happens when I take like my pinky finger and just like work with it a little bit in the, yeah, that's much better. Finger is 100 times better, but you definitely get a lot more put on than I had necessarily wanted to. Oops. Alright, so now I'm going to go into the shade right here called Cantley, and take that on my finger that's been wiped off, and just focus that in the center portion of my eye. I'm going to take this, it's from Ulta Beauty. It's like a little packing brush, because I don't know how else this is going to go, because this is a very crumbly shade. But then I'm going to go into the shade Lace right here. And okay, so this does pick up nicely, and just focus that right on the very outer portion. I'm going to try to go in with another layer, because again, this is more of a white base than it is a dark base. This is very crumbly though, I will say that. It's definitely crumbling, where the other ones really worked. So here are the eyes so far. worked all those colors in. I'm gonna go do more of my face off of camera. I will then come back, so then we can start doing the lower lash line together, and then I will come back with final thoughts after we do the lower lash line. So I am back, so we can go ahead and work on the lower lash line. So first things first is I'm going to take one of these really nice pencil brushes. I'm going to start off with the B2, and I'm just going to go into that shade Baby Doll right here and just work on smoking that just like right underneath the lower lash lines. I don't really think it's going to provide a whole lot of color, just like it didn't when I tried it on top. Yeah, it didn't really provide like a whole lot. Okay, then I'm going to go into the No Strings with that same brush, just because that's what I use for my transition area. Alright, so then with a little bit of a tinier brush is I'm then going to go into the shade Fasten, and I'm going to bring that right up against that lash line and bring it all the way over, since I did use that all the way over in my crease area. And then very last, we'll go into the shade Stiletto and just focus that like right here and 1/3, like very 1/3 of the eye. Okay, so then we're going to go into the shade Lace, which was this light one right here. And we're going to take it on that like, what is this, the Ulta Beauty packing type brush. And just like focus that on like the inner corner and start to like bring it over as well. That's really beautiful. So here are the upper and lower lash line done. I'm going to now go off of camera, and I will come back so I can kind of give you my final thoughts. I really am hoping I can find lashes and liner. So we had an issue in our house, and so in our kitchen, and so we basically had to move everything out of the kitchen into our dining room area, which is where I film and where all my makeup is. So stuff is like stacked up against each other. So basically what I have is basically like on my desk area. Don't know if I have my liner and lashes and lash glue over here with me, but I hope that I do. But either way, I will come back so we can talk about my final thoughts. So I'm back with the final look. What do you think? Do you like this look? If you enjoy this look, then definitely give this video a thumbs up. That lets me know that you like this type of content and this look, and this lets YouTube know. Alright, let's go ahead and let's dive on into my final thoughts. Let's first go ahead and let's start with the palette. First of all, the look I created, 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. Right, so that's like what, 40 out of 10? 100%. This is so good. So I really do like the shimmers. I think the shimmers are really nice, really beautiful. So I really do like the versatility of this palette. I like that there are a lot of different shades. I will say this is a very like buildable type palette, but they blend out so effortlessly and so beautifully. And I really like the shimmers. I think the shimmers are absolutely stunning. Even the ones right up here that are a little bit more sheer, I still think that like that light sheer green that's like right here on this like inner corner part, it went really well. I was able to apply it with a brush just because I couldn't get my pinky really far in there. I do think the shimmers apply best with the finger, but I think you can definitely do a brush. Maybe I'm using the wrong types of brush. Again, let me know your guys' favorite brush to put on a shimmer, to pack a shimmer on. Let me know. I know you guys can like wet your brush, but I want something where I could just like pack it on first without having to wet it. I don't know. Let me know all that down below. But I think this has a lot of different diversity in it. This is definitely more of like a cool toned type of neutral palette. It doesn't really have a lot of warm tone aspects to it. There are a couple of, you know, some warmer tones that are like in here. Like there's like a really bronzy shade. There's like an orangish shimmer. There's like a gold. You have like this orange right here. Again, I feel like the orange still leads a little bit more on the cool tone type of orange, but you could definitely make it a little bit more warm tone as well. But this is definitely like a really nice, beautiful, cool toned palette. Cool tone neutral. I think for $45, the quality is just, it's there. I think the quality is there for the price. I like the amount of mattes and shimmers. I like the differenceness of the shimmers that are in there. Definitely adds something beautiful to it. It's not just neutrals. You do get some, you know, more like purplish, more like pink type mattes. You get some browns, you get some plum type shades. So I really do think there is a lot of diversity. I think you can create a lot of looks because you do get 40 shades for $45, and I feel like for the quality, it's definitely worth it. Let me know what you guys think of this look. Did you think that, what are your thoughts on this palette? Seeing how often I needed to build up, things like that. Did you think that would be a palette you're interested in? Are you one that likes something that's buildable, or do you want something that you get immediate pigment the moment you dunk your brush in? I feel like I kind of sometimes, depending on what look I'm going for, either like something really pigmented right off the bat, or I do like something a little bit more buildable. So for me, I will definitely be getting a lot of use out of this palette. Now, let's move on into the brushes. So I don't think there were any other brushes on the site, at least not ones that I remember seeing. So I bought this eye brush set for me having really hooded eyes, like as you can tell, right? A lot of it disappears because I have some hooded eyes. Hooded droopy eyelids is what I have. And for me, a lot of the bigger brushes take over a good portion of the eye. And so I would either have to do like a cut crease or something like that. I really like, for hooded eyes, just how easy these brushes were to do a look. And I didn't have to do a cut crease for the shimmers to really show up, especially like that inner corner shade. I didn't have to do like any of my cut crease. I feel like they worked really well for both the upper portion of my lids as well as my lower lash line. I think that these really are really nice and versatile, easy to use. I would say, if you're somebody that has a lot of lid space and you're not doing a lot of intricate work, I don't necessarily know that you would particularly care for these brushes, because just like my hooded eyes, like this would be perfect for just in my crease, instead of like all over in my transition. And then they just get tinier from there. So I think if you have a lot of real estate on your eyes, I don't necessarily think you're going to love these. If you're not doing really like intricate, detailed blending work, which I'm not necessarily doing a whole lot of either. But if you have hooded eyes, I think you're going to love these brushes. I love these brushes. These were so good, easy to use, really nice and soft, really picked up the pigment well, really distributed it well. So I think overall these are really good brushes for hooded eyes, and if you really want some detailed work, I think these are fantastic. So overall, I am really happy with the collection. I'm really happy with the look that I came up with. I'm really happy with everything that I tried today from them. I'm really excited to try like the Blends palette and the Surge palette. Let me know if you guys want to see that video. If you don't, leave that in the comment section as well. I'm totally fine with that because I have millions of other videos to film with new makeup that I've got. I've got new makeup on the way. So I definitely have tons of videos coming out testing new makeup. But if that's one that you are thinking, well, I want to pick this up and potentially pick up one of the other palettes or both of the palettes, but want to know how they perform as well and would like for me to do that type of video, or you just want to see what look I create or anything like that, then definitely go ahead, leave those comments down below, and that will let me know either one way or the other. If you want to see it or not, just leave that down below. But that is it for today's video. I'm overall really happy. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this type of content, testing out new makeup to the market, then definitely give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you all in my next one.